Bloodborne took everything from software learned from Dark Souls and twisted it into something darker, faster, and more aggressive. The result wasn't just another Souls game, it was a gothic horror masterpiece that stands as one of PlayStation's finest exclusives. What makes Bloodborne special is its atmosphere. The city of Yharnam, with its Victorian architecture, twisted inhabitants, and blood-soaked streets, creates a setting unlike anything else in gaming. And the way the game slowly transforms from gothic horror to cosmic terror is a masterclass in world building. The combat is a revelation. By removing shields and rewarding aggressive play with the rally system, which lets you regain lost health by immediately striking back, Bloodborne forces you to overcome the defensive habits Dark Souls instilled. The result is faster, more intense combat that feels absolutely incredible when it clicks. The trick weapons add another layer of depth. Each weapon transforms between two forms, essentially giving you two completely different movesets to master. The saw cleaver extending into a massive blade or the threaded cane unfurling into a whip creates moments of visceral satisfaction. And the bosses, from Father Gascoigne's tragic transformation to the otherworldly horror of Ebrietas, are some of the most memorable in gaming. The moment when Ludwig finds his holy moonlight sword in the DLC still gives me chills. Bloodborne isn't just a great game, it's a perfect fusion of gameplay and atmosphere that creates something greater than the sum of its parts. Control, some games are easy to explain. Control is not one of those games. Remedy Entertainment's supernatural action-adventure is one of the most unique, bizarre, and captivating experiences of the decade, a game that defies easy categorization. What makes Control special is its setting. The oldest house, headquarters of the Federal Bureau of Control, is an impossible space that shifts and changes according to rules we barely understand. Brutalist architecture extends into infinite voids, everyday objects possess unimaginable power, and reality itself is malleable. It's like someone turned a David Lynch film into a game. The storytelling is deliberately obscure. Documents, audio logs, and live-action video segments slowly reveal the nature of this world, rewarding curious players with deeper understanding while maintaining an essential mystery at its core. The way the game trusts players to piece things together without extensive handholding is refreshing. Jessie Faden is a compelling protagonist, searching for her brother while suddenly thrust into the role of director of a supernatural government agency. Her gradual acquisition of powers, from telekinesis to mind control to levitation, creates a satisfying progression that changes how you navigate the world. And the ashtray maze sequence? If you know, you know. If you don't, I won't spoil it, but it's one of gaming's most exhilarating set pieces. Control isn't just a great game, it's a wholly original vision that shows there's still room for weird, creative ideas in AAA gaming. Final Fantasy VII Remake. How do you remake one of the most beloved games of all time? Square Enix answered that question by creating something that honors the original while boldly reimagining it for a new generation. Final Fantasy VII Remake isn't just a graphical update, it's a reinvention. What makes Final Fantasy VII Remake special is how it expands on the original. What was once a few hours in Midgar now becomes a full 40-hour game, allowing characters like Jessie, Biggs, and Wedge to develop into fully realized people rather than just supporting characters. The city of Midgar itself becomes a character, with the stark division between the plate and the slums telling a story of inequality that feels more relevant than ever. The combat system brilliantly bridges turn-based and action RPG styles. You can attack in real time, but the real strategy comes from pausing to use abilities, spells, and items. It maintains the tactical depth of the original while adding modern responsiveness. The visuals are stunning, transforming blocky polygons into some of the most detailed character models and environments ever seen. Seeing Cloud, Tifa, Aerith, and Barrett brought to life with this level of fidelity creates an emotional connection that enhances every story beat. And then there's the music. Reorchestrated versions of Nobuo Uematsu's iconic soundtrack punctuate every moment perfectly, from quiet character scenes to epic boss battles. Final Fantasy VII Remake isn't just a great game, it's a love letter to a classic that manages to feel both nostalgic and completely new at the same time.
But we're not. I guess. Shit, maybe try mixing it up more?
Try to keep your guard up.
Show them what we can do.
Defense, Cloud. Try to mix it up. You need to vary your attack.
Get him! Crazy creatures on this mountain.
Thanks to all the Mako, no doubt.
God of War, how do you reinvent a character as one-dimensional as the rage-fueled Kratos? Santa Monica Studio answered that question with one of gaming's most successful reimaginings ever. God of War 2018 isn't just a sequel, it's a complete transformation. What makes God of War special is how it maintains the DNA of the series while evolving it in every way. The combat is still visceral and satisfying, but the fixed camera is replaced with an over-the-shoulder view that never cuts away. The entire game unfolds in one continuous shot, creating unprecedented immersion. The relationship between Kratos and his son Atreus forms the emotional core of the story. Watching this emotionally stunted God of War try to be a father, something he has no idea how to do, creates moments of both humor and genuine pathos. Their journey to scatter the ashes of Atreus' mother becomes a path to mutual understanding. The Norse setting is a revelation. After exhausting Greek mythology, the game explores the 9 realms with the same attention to detail and creative license. Meeting figures like Mimir, the World Serpent, and the Sons of Thor feels fresh and exciting. The Leviathan axe deserves special mention as one of gaming's most satisfying weapons. The weight of throwing it and the tactile joy of recalling it to your hand never gets old, creating a combat system that feels incredible from the first hour to the last. God of War isn't just a great game, it's proof that even the most established franchises can be reinvented with enough imagination and care. Grand Theft Auto 5, how do you follow up one of the biggest games ever made? If you're Rockstar, you make an even bigger game that's still dominating sales charts a decade later. GTA 5 isn't just a game, it's a cultural institution. What makes GTA 5 special is its ambition. Los Santos is a stunning recreation of Los Angeles, packed with detail and activity. The decision to split the protagonist role between 3 characters, Michael, the retired criminal, Franklin, the ambitious gangster, and Trevor, the unhinged psychopath, provides different perspectives on the criminal underworld. The heists are the standout feature. Planning and executing elaborate robberies feels like starring in your own crime movie. Whether you're stealing jewels from a high-end store or breaking into the Federal Reserve, these set pieces are gaming at its most cinematic. The satire is sharper than ever. GTA 5 takes aim at everything from social media and celebrity culture to government corruption and corporate greed. It's often crude and over the top, but there's genuine commentary beneath the chaos. And then there's the sheer amount of stuff to do. Tennis, golf, street races, stunt jumps, property management, stock market manipulation. You could spend hundreds of hours in Los Santos without ever touching the main story. Love it or hate it, GTA 5's massive success has shaped the gaming landscape for an entire decade. Few games can claim that kind of impact. Max Payne 3 might be the most underrated game on this list. After the noir stylings of the first 2 games, Rockstar took the series in a bold new direction and delivered one of the most stylish, brutal shooters ever made. What makes Max Payne 3 special is its unflinching commitment to its vision. Max is older, broken, addicted to painkillers and alcohol, working security in Sao Paulo. The sunshine and favelas couldn't be further from the snowy New York nights of the earlier games, but the change works perfectly. The gunplay is incredible. Bullet time returns and feels better than ever, letting you dive through the air in slow motion, taking out enemies with pinpoint precision. The last man standing mechanic, where time slows down when you're about to die, giving you one last chance to kill your attacker, adds a perfect layer of tension to every firefight. Visually, the game was revolutionary. The way cutscenes seamlessly transition into gameplay, with text overlaying important dialogue like a graphic novel come to life, creates a unique visual language. The set pieces are unforgettable. The nightclub shootout with Tears by Health playing in the background is gaming perfection. Beneath the action is a surprisingly thoughtful story about wealth inequality, corruption, and a man trying to find redemption even when he doesn't believe he deserves it. Max Payne 3 isn't just a great shooter, it's a mature, stylish crime thriller that deserves a second look. Red Dead Redemption 2, how do you follow up a masterpiece? If you're Rockstar, you create an even more ambitious, detailed, and emotionally resonant prequel. Red Dead Redemption 2 isn't just a great game, it's a landmark achievement in interactive storytelling. What makes Red Dead Redemption 2 special is its commitment to immersion. The world of 1899 America is recreated with stunning attention to detail, from the way mud builds up on your boots to how your horse's coat grows over time. Every interaction feels natural and considered, creating a sense of place that few games can match. Arthur Morgan is one of gaming's greatest protagonists, a complex man trying to reconcile his violent past with his growing moral conscience. His journey feels genuinely human. Watching his relationship with Dutch van der Linde deteriorate as the gang falls apart creates a tragic narrative arc that stays with you long after the credits roll. The open world is alive in a way that puts other games to shame. Hunting has a complete ecosystem, with animals behaving realistically. Towns have routines, with shops opening and closing and people going about their lives. Even small details like how NPCs remember your actions add to the sense that this is a living, breathing place. And the story, spanning multiple states and years, is an epic tale of the death of the Old West and the birth of modern America. It's not just entertaining, it's genuinely thought-provoking. Red Dead Redemption 2 isn't just a great game, it's a technical and artistic achievement that shows what's possible when a studio pushes interactive entertainment to its limits. Resident Evil 7, after years of increasingly action-oriented sequels, Resident Evil was at risk of losing its identity. Enter Resident Evil 7, a bold reinvention that returned the series to its horror roots while moving in a completely new direction. What makes Resident Evil 7 special is its focus on tension. The switch to first-person perspective places you directly in protagonist Ethan Winters' shoes as he searches for his missing wife in a decrepit Louisiana plantation. The Baker family, Jack, Marguerite, and Lucas, are some of gaming's most terrifying antagonists, stalking you through the halls and appearing when you least expect them. The atmosphere is suffocating. The Baker house feels like a character itself, with creaking floorboards, mysterious noises, and hidden passages creating constant unease. The game's masterful audio design means you're always listening for footsteps or whispers that might signal danger. Resource management returns to prominence. Every bullet and healing item is precious, and deciding whether to fight or flee is a constant calculation. The inventory system, with its limited space and item combining, adds another layer of strategy to survival. And while the game introduces a new story and characters, it cleverly ties into the broader Resident Evil universe in ways that reward longtime fans without alienating newcomers. Resident Evil 7 isn't just a great horror game, it's a masterclass in how to revitalize a franchise by returning to what made it special while boldly pushing forward. The Last of Us, some games are fun, some games are impressive. The Last of Us is important. Naughty Dog's post-apocalyptic masterpiece pushed video game storytelling to new heights and showed that the medium could handle mature, emotional narratives with the same depth as film or literature. What makes The Last of Us special is its characters. Joel and Ellie's journey across a ruined America isn't just about survival, it's about connection, loss, and what it means to find something worth living for in a world that's already dead. The gameplay reinforces the desperation of this world. Resources are scarce, forcing you to make every bullet and medkit count. Encounters with both infected and human enemies are tense, brutal affairs where stealth and strategy are often better options than direct confrontation. The environmental storytelling is masterful. Finding notes from long-dead survivors or seeing how nature has reclaimed once bustling cities tells the story of the world without a word of dialogue. And then there's that ending. Without spoiling anything, The Last of Us concludes with one of gaming's most morally complex and emotionally devastating finales, one that forces players to confront uncomfortable truths about its characters and themselves. The Last of Us isn't just a great game, it's a landmark in interactive storytelling that showed what the medium is capable of when gameplay and narrative work in perfect harmony.
Down the hall. I bet we can cut through those classrooms. There's a way through.
There's a path down this hallway.
Legend of Zelda, Breath of the Wild. How do you reinvent a 30-year-old franchise? If you're Nintendo, you strip it down to its core essence, exploration and discovery, and rebuild it from the ground up. Breath of the Wild isn't just a great Zelda game, it's a revolution in open-world design. What makes Breath of the Wild special is its systems-based approach to gameplay. Every element in the world interacts in logical but surprising ways. Metal conducts electricity. Fire spreads based on wind conditions. Ice can be used to float on water. These consistent rules create a playground where player creativity is the star. The freedom is unprecedented for the series. After a brief tutorial area, the entire world opens up. You can head straight to the final boss if you want, though you'll probably die quickly. This respect for player choice extends to every aspect of the game. The subtle storytelling is masterful. Instead of lengthy cutscenes, Breath of the Wild tells its tale through ruins, memories, and the landscape itself. Discovering what happened to Hyrule 100 years ago becomes a reward for exploration rather than a requirement for progression. And climbing, simple as it sounds, transforms the way you interact with the world. If you can see it, you can reach it, making every mountain and tower a puzzle to be solved rather than a barrier. Breath of the Wild isn't just a great game, it's a paradigm shift that will influence open-world design for decades to come. The Witcher 3 didn't just raise the bar for RPGs, it launched it into the stratosphere. CD Projekt Red's magnum opus redefined what we expect from open-world storytelling and showed that massive games don't have to sacrifice quality for quantity. What makes The Witcher 3 special is how it handles scale. This is a huge game, but every quest feels handcrafted. Even simple monster contracts have unique stories behind them, moral choices with real consequences, and characters you can't help but care about. Geralt of Rivia is the perfect protagonist for this world. His gruff exterior and professional neutrality make him an ideal lens through which to view the complex political landscape of the northern kingdoms. And the supporting cast, from sorceresses and kings to peasants and monsters, is uniformly excellent. The world itself feels alive in a way few games manage. Villages have their own problems, monsters have ecological niches, and politics shape everyday life. It's a world that exists beyond the player, you're just passing through, making your mark where you can. The DLC expansions deserve special mention. Hearts of Stone offers one of gaming's most compelling villains in Gaunter Autumn, while Blood and Wine gives Geralt a fitting conclusion in the storybook realm of Toussaint. Either would be worth the price of a full game. The Witcher 3 isn't just a great RPG, it's a new standard against which all story-driven open-world games are measured, and few have come close to matching it. Far Cry 3. Have I ever told you the definition of insanity? With those words, Far Cry 3 introduced us to one of gaming's most memorable villains and revolutionized the open-world shooter. This was the game that established the Ubisoft formula, for better or worse. What makes Far Cry 3 special is its perfect balance of structure and chaos. The basic loop, climb towers to reveal the map, liberate outposts, hunt animals to craft upgrades, provides a framework. But it's what happens in between those objectives that creates the magic. You might be driving to a mission when suddenly a tiger attacks a group of enemies, or a hang glider crashes nearby, or a patrol spots you and calls for reinforcements. These unscripted moments create stories that feel uniquely yours. The tropical setting of Rook Island is gorgeous and diverse, from beaches to jungles to ancient ruins. And the way you gradually unlock new areas of the map gives a satisfying sense of progression as you evolve from helpless tourist to jungle predator. Vaz Montenegro deserves special mention. As the unpredictable, philosophical psychopath who serves as the game's main antagonist for the first half, he steals every scene he's in. His definition of insanity monologue has become iconic for good reason. Far Cry 3 wasn't just a great game, it was a blueprint that defined open-world design for years to come. Whether you think that's good or bad, its influence is undeniable.
Holy shit!
Hey. Holy crap! What the? I'm bleeding! Go!